Hi there, this is Chris Chapping the Cat. Today we're going to talk about a new for 2023, a new upgraded version of the Klim Marrakesh jacket. The claim about the Marrakesh jacket being the best jacket in the world I know sounds a little bit overblown. I think you've got to say it in a Jeremy Clarkson type voice to make it sound less pompous. The best motorcycle jacket in the world. However, we still think the statement is true. We love the Marrakesh and so do our customers. We've sold huge numbers and I don't think we've ever come across a customer who doesn't love wearing it. But for 2023 there's a new version. The fundamentals of the jacket are the same, but there are some detail changes. There are also two new colours. But before we talk about the new jacket, let's talk about the concept and why we rate the jacket so highly. At its heart, the Marrakesh is but a humble mesh jacket. Mesh jackets, let's face it, are 10 a penny. Every manufacturer does one, they are blindingly simple to make, and as a result they tend to be cheap as chips. They all do pretty much the same job. You've got mesh panels on the chest pretty much always, sometimes up the arms, sometimes in the back. And they will allow the rider, the wearer, to sweat easily, and that's important because sweating is the way that the body naturally cools itself down. The mesh panels will also make it possible for the oncoming cooler air to reach the body and again cool the body down. Now, the Marrakesh is basically a mesh jacket on steroids. The outer chassis is made from a 1000 denier Cordura with elastane built into it for stretch. The material is immensely strong. It makes the Marrakesh way stronger than a normal mesh jacket, which explains why it rates AA under EN 17092. Now, let me put that into context. There are many GTX Gore-Tex jackets out there from the likes of Rukka and Klim that are still only rated single A. There's only one on the market that's AAA. So an AA rated mesh jacket is pretty impressive. The stretch also makes the Marrakesh the most comfortable jacket you will ever wear. It wears more like a tracksuit jacket than a motorcycle jacket. Of course, it comes with a full suite of D30 armour, but even so, this is a jacket that you could comfortably wear all day long. But one of the key secrets of the Marrakesh is its outstanding breathability. Now, normal mesh jackets, as I've mentioned, have strategically placed panels around a nylon chassis. But every single panel of the Marrakesh flows air. So the chest flows air, the arms, the flanks, the back. There is no jacket out there that flows as much air as the Marrakesh. In really hot weather, there's nothing quite like it. By contrast, because it flows so much air, on a cold day you'll simply freeze. So on one level, one could suggest that the Marrakesh is just a very good mesh jacket. But actually to us, it's much more. It's the building block for a simple but very effective layering solution that provides bikers with the perfect riding outfit, whatever conditions you find yourself in. By supplementing the Marrakesh with 3 other garments, all of which can be folded into tiny packages, you'll have a jacket that you can wear anywhere in the world in just about any conditions. So when it's hot, you would just wear the Marrakesh over a base layer. So something lightweight merino or a synthetic layer. On a summer's day, let's say you're riding down through France or Spain or Italy, you could be traversing the dunes in the Sahara, you could be crossing Death Valley. In those kind of conditions, nothing is going to be more appropriate than the Marrakesh. Nothing is going to keep you cooler. But when the temperature drops, you can very quickly get cold in the Marrakesh because every panel flows air. That's when you put on something like the Zephyr, which is this layer. It's gossamer thin, you won't even notice that you're wearing it, but it makes a huge difference to the way you're going to feel temperature on the bike. And that's because perhaps the most significant factor when we're riding a bike in the cold is what we know as the wind chill factor. And that dictates how the body perceives temperature when it's delivered at speed. So at, let's call it 5 degrees at 70 miles an hour, the body is going to feel the temperature as -2 degrees. Unfortunately, traditional insulating layers won't necessarily help because the wind can just whiz through those layers. What you need is a windproof barrier, and that is exactly what the Zephyr is. You also, coincidentally, get a little bit of protection from the rain with the Zephyr. It's not taped at the seams, so you can't wear it for hours and hours, but I would say for half an hour, 45 minutes in the rain, the Zephyr is going to keep the rain off the body. Of course, if the temperature drops further, you are going to need an insulating layer. You need an insulating layer to insulate the heat that the body is always generating. And there's nothing that does that better than a down jacket. Let's face it, if you were going to climb Everest, it's a down jacket that you would wear to keep warm. Now, any down jacket is going to do the job. Klim does one, this one, it's called the Maverick, and we think it's perfect. It's the perfect weight, it's not too thick, but it certainly insulates enough heat. It's constituted from 90% duck down, 10% duck feathers. It is absolutely fantastic. With the Zephyr combined with the Maverick, you're going to be as warm as you're going to be in even the best, most expensive technical jacket. The issue is that if it rains, you will still get wet. And that's where this third layer comes in, the Scott to wear over the top. The Scott is just a waterproof. We think it's the best waterproof you can buy. You can wear any waterproof, obviously, but this is our solution. You wear the Scott over the top and you're going to be bone dry. Now, there is a problem with a layering system, and that is that you need to stop when the conditions change. So on a nice day, if it gets a little bit chilly, if the sun goes down, you might want to stop to put the Zephyr on, just to take the chill off. If you're somewhere really cold, you've then got to stop and put the Maverick on. And if it rains, you've got to put the Scott on the top. It sounds complicated, but the issue is that if you were to buy a normal technical jacket, you will never, ever be cool when it's hot. With the Marrakesh, you will never be wrongly dressed. You will have the perfect outfit, whatever the conditions. And what's more, you're going to be comfortable in all of those conditions, because the Marrakesh is simply the nicest, most comfortable jacket you'll ever wear. The new Marrakesh has got to be said, it's not massively different to the old one. It's more really a case of evolution. Most of the changes are pretty minor. We lose one external pocket on the chest. There used to be a second one here. But to compensate, we get a much more usable pocket on the inside of the jacket. The pockets now have a non-stretch panel that faces the zip, that surrounds the zip. And I think that's because if you put too much gear in the pockets of the old Marrakesh, it would create some misshaping of the material. So I think these panels are designed to give the jacket just a little bit more structure. You no longer get adjusters, volume adjusters on the sleeves. There used to be one here on the bicep and one here on the forearm. But makes little difference, I think, in terms of functionality, but I think the jacket looks much better for it because it makes it look less like a motorcycle jacket. The collar here at the front now sits a little bit lower, and I think that's just a comfort thing. You also get a credit card pocket here at the end of the sleeve. One of the most significant changes on the new Marrakesh is that it now comes with a drawstring at the hem. And that's important because the Marrakesh simply does not come in enough sizes. I think there are 5 sizes in the Marrakesh, whereas with a technical jacket you will often get 9, 10, 11, even 12 sizes. And what that means is that the gaps between the sizes are at times just too large. So for example, if you find that a medium is just a little bit too tight on you and you want to go up to a large, the gap can be too great, and suddenly you'll find that the Marrakesh hangs there. What the drawstring does, it enables us to cinch it in, and it's going to make it look much better. And it's an upgrade. It's something that we know that works because we've been adding drawstrings to the Marrakesh for the last 2 years. The other main change to the Marrakesh is that it now comes with not D30 armour, which it always had. It comes with Ghost at D30 armour, and that's fitted in the elbows and in the shoulders. It does, however, set up one potential upgrade for those who are always looking for a little bit more protection. The Ghost armour in the Marrakesh is level 1, as is the back protector. But if you swapped it all out for level 2, you would barely feel the difference because level 2 Ghost really isn't very thick at all. But technically you would have armour that is going to absorb twice as much energy. If you wanted to go down this route, we would swap it all out for level 2 and we'll only charge an extra £50. There are also 2 new colours with the Marrakesh. The old grey and the old black remain, albeit in this new design with all the features of the new jacket, but they are now joined by 2 new colours. And one is this brown, it's called teak, and there's another one called petrol blue. The Marrakesh and the system that we're talking about will not be right for everyone. We think the versatility that the system offers is simply extraordinary. It gives you something that you won't get from any technical jacket, however much you pay. But it might not work, for example, for the guy who's a long-distance commuter because he won't want to stop halfway on his way into work, pull over by the side of the road and put a layer on or take a layer off. Might not work also for the person who goes on tour with a bunch of mates, because let's face it, those mates won't want to stop when the Marrakesh wearer sees rain clouds appearing in the distance. Now, in terms of price, the Marrakesh goes up by 10% to £450. The Zephyr, the windproof layer, costs £100. The Maverick, the down layer, £270. The Scott waterproof that goes over the top, £90. So that comes in at about £900. That buys you a good, but certainly not the very best Gore-Tex jacket. But the problem is that this isn't really a fair head-to-head comparison. A traditional Gore-Tex jacket clearly is going to be great in the rain. With an appropriate thermal liner, it will be good in the cold. But it will not be nice to wear when it gets hot. Whilst the Marrakesh, when you put a Scott over the top, is going to be every bit as good in terms of waterproofing as even the very best laminate jackets. Finally, there is, as you might expect, a new Marrakesh pant. Now, historically, we haven't always given the Marrakesh a fair hearing. We're going to do a review about it soon, and we'll see if we can be a little bit nicer about them. If you want to see the other colours of the Klim Marrakesh, if you want to look at other Klim gear, then visit the website motolegends.com. If you want to learn more about the Marrakesh in particular, then if you click on one of the links on the screen, sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there, that will take you directly to the relevant page on the website. When you're there, you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail, you can check availability, and obviously if you want to buy a Marrakesh, there and then you can do that. Now when you buy from us, we try to make the process simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protective wear that you buy from us, returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. We have the best price promise in the business. Now, John Lewis was rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find anyone selling anything that we sell at a price that is below ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with what we call our price beat. Nothing particularly onerous, I can assure you, but if you are going to attempt to price beat us, I suggest you visit the website to check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you would like to see bulletins from us about new product launches, again, if you go to the website, at the top of the page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there, within seconds you'll be in business. In future, you'll receive our email bulletins. If however you prefer to get your information videographically, that is to say in this form, we'd be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Finally, I'd like to make mention of our fabulous little shop here at Motolegends. We are based about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station. And as I suggest, it's a small shop. It's got a small footprint, but it's attached to our warehouse where we have more than £4 million worth of motorcycle merchandise arranged over 3 floors. And technically, that makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel store in the UK. But we like to think that we're far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about the quality of service. We're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. When you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.